Stop. If you are hearing these words before the 1st of October, consider yourself fortunate, because nothing about this moment is random. Life has a quiet way of placing you exactly where you need to be, even when you don't yet understand why. Timing is not always a matter of clocks and calendars. It is a matter of readiness. The fact that you are here right now is a signal that something inside you is ready to wake up. This is not an accident. It is a conversation between you and the path you have been avoiding, the growth you have been delaying, and the strength you have forgotten you already have. Think about the countless things you pass by every day without noticing. A small decision, a single thought, a brief chance to act. Most people treat these moments as invisible, but they are the sparks that decide whether tomorrow will look the same as today. If you are listening now, it means life is giving you one of these sparks. The question is whether you will catch it or let it fade. Every great transformation begins with a pause, a sudden stop, where you realize that the life you have been living is only a fraction of what is possible. That pause is not weakness, it is awareness, and awareness is the starting point of change. Before October arrives, you have a choice. Not a vague idea, not a distant dream, but a real choice sitting in front of you. You can continue carrying the same doubts, the same excuses, the same patterns that have been quietly shaping your days, or you can decide that the story is ready to shift. Too often, we wait for the perfect conditions, more money, more confidence, more time. But perfection is a trap. The world will never arrange itself in a way that removes all risk. Waiting for the right moment is another way of saying you are afraid to begin. The right moment is never found. It is created by action. Look back at the past few months. How many times did you feel a quiet pull to start something, to leave something, to speak up, to learn, to try? How many times did you silence that pull because it felt too soon or too uncertain? Every time you ignore that voice, you teach yourself that hesitation is safer than growth. But safety is not life. Safety is a cage built from invisible bars of comfort. You may not see them, but you feel them every time you wake up with the sense that something is missing, every time you wonder why the days blur together without meaning. If this message finds you now, it is because the cage is starting to crack. The smallest crack is enough to begin. The weeks before October are a bridge between who you have been and who you are capable of becoming. Bridges are not built for standing still, they are built for crossing. To cross, you do not need to have everything figured out. You need only to take the first deliberate step. That step might be as simple as writing down a plan you have avoided, starting a habit you have delayed, or letting go of a situation that quietly drains your energy. Do not underestimate the power of a single step. Mountains are climbed by placing one foot in front of the other, again and again. Change works the same way. Remember, luck is not a mysterious force that blesses some people and ignores others. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity. Right now, preparation is your responsibility. Opportunity is already here. The preparation is not just about skills or resources. It is about mindset. It is training yourself to see challenges as teachers, to see setbacks as signals, to see time as a resource that grows when you use it wisely. If you can shift your mind from waiting to creating, you will discover that what others call luck is simply the natural reward of deliberate action. Ask yourself, what is one thing you can no longer delay? Not 10 things, 1. The human mind loves to complicate change because complexity gives an excuse to do nothing. Focus instead on one commitment you can honor today. It might be waking up earlier to reclaim your morning. It might be starting the conversation you have been avoiding. It might be forgiving someone, not for them, but for your own freedom. It might be dedicating 30 minutes a day to a skill that could reshape your future. One action, repeated daily, carries more power than 100 intentions left undone. Do not confuse movement with progress. Filling your days with tasks is not the same as moving toward your purpose. Progress requires direction. Direction comes from clarity. Before this month ends, take time to be brutally honest with yourself. What do you truly want? Not what others expect, not what fear allows, but what your own life demands. Write it down, speak it aloud. The act of naming it is a declaration to yourself that you are done living by accident. A life lived by accident is a life filled with regret. A life lived by design is a life filled with meaning. You might wonder why this matters before October, because time has a rhythm and every new cycle begins with a decision. October is not just another month, it is a marker. It is the last quarter of the year, the final chance to steer the direction of the days that remain. Those who wait until the year ends will look back and see another calendar filled with excuses. Those who begin now will look forward and see the foundation of something greater. The difference is not talent or luck. The difference is the courage to start while others are still waiting. Fear will whisper that it is safer to stay where you are. Fear will remind you of every past failure, every doubt, every voice that told you were not enough. But fear is only loud when you are close to something important. If you feel fear, take it as proof that you are standing on the edge of growth. Step anyway. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Each time you act in the presence of fear, the fear loses power and your strength multiplies. This message is not about rushing or forcing your life. It is about awakening to the fact that your life is already happening. The clock does not stop while you wait for courage. Every sunrise is an invitation to create something that did not exist yesterday. Every choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. You cannot control every event, but you can control the meaning you give it. You can choose to see this very moment as a warning, or as an opportunity, or as both. The meaning you choose will shape the next chapter. If you have been waiting for a sign to begin, this is it. Not because the words themselves hold magic, but because you are finally ready to hear them. Life will always test your readiness by sending a message at an unexpected time. If you are listening before October, it is because you are meant to start now. Do not let this be another piece of inspiration that fades into memory. Turn it into action before the sun sets. Send the message, start the plan, take the step. Your future is waiting, but it will not wait forever. When October arrives, you will look back on this moment and see one of two things, a turning point or another missed chance. The difference will be the choice you make today. Remember, luck is not an accident. This message is not an accident. You are not an accident. The world bends for those who decide. Decide now. Luck is not an accident. It is the natural meeting point of preparation and opportunity, a quiet but powerful intersection where effort collides with timing and creates results that seem mysterious to those who are only watching from the outside. Many people look at someone else's success and label it as luck, as if some invisible hand simply chose them and ignored everyone else. But if you look deeper, you will always find a long trail of unseen work, small choices, patient preparation, and quiet persistence that built the foundation long before the visible breakthrough appeared. What people call luck is rarely a sudden gift. It is the reward of someone who prepared while others were waiting. It is the inevitable outcome of someone who dared to move before the world gave them permission. The moment you choose to act before the world feels ready is the exact moment you begin creating the opportunities that others will later call lucky. Opportunity is not something that politely knocks at the perfect time. It is something that must be met halfway. When you take action in a space that feels uncertain, you are sending a signal to life itself that you are willing to meet possibility where it lives. You are showing that you trust yourself enough to begin even when the path is not fully lit. This single decision to start before you feel fully prepared is what separates those who watch from those who create. The world rewards those who dare to step forward while others are still debating, because action generates momentum, and momentum attracts chances that cannot be seen from a distance. Think about the times when you hesitated because you were waiting for more knowledge, more resources, more approval. Every delay quietly teaches your mind that waiting is safer than trying. But safety does not create growth, and growth is the soil where opportunity grows. Preparation is not only about skills or plans. It is about shaping the mindset that allows you to see chances where others see risk. It is about training yourself to recognize the small openings that appear when others are too distracted to notice. Every book you read, every habit you strengthen, every hour you spend refining your craft becomes a stored advantage, a hidden reserve of strength that reveals itself when the right door finally opens. People will call it luck when your work meets that door, because they will only see the surface. They will see the timing, but not the training, the result, but not the relentless preparation that made it possible. They will say you were fortunate to be in the right place at the right time, but they will overlook that you prepared yourself to recognize that place and seize that time. The right place and the right time are useless if you are not the right person to act. Becoming the right person is the quiet work of preparation, building discipline, sharpening skills, and cultivating the courage to act when the signal arrives. The world is full of moments that look like accidents but are actually invitations. An unexpected conversation, a sudden idea, a chance meeting. All of these appear random until you realize that only a prepared mind knows how to turn them into something more. To the unprepared, these moments pass by like background noise. To the prepared, they are golden doors waiting to be opened. Preparation does not guarantee that every door will lead to success, but it guarantees that you will recognize a door when you see it, and that you will have the strength to walk through. Choosing to act before the world feels ready is not reckless. It is courageous alignment. It is understanding that perfection is an illusion, and that waiting for flawless timing is another way of surrendering to fear. There will never be a day when all conditions are perfect. There will always be uncertainty, risk, and a reason to delay. Those who create their own luck accept this truth and move anyway. They trust that readiness grows through action, not before it. Each imperfect step sharpens ability, builds resilience, and draws opportunity closer. When people later look back at your achievements, they will create stories about chance, coincidence, or fate. They will talk about how you were lucky to meet the right person or start at the right moment. But you will know the truth. You will know about the late nights of learning when no one was watching, the quiet mornings of planning when no one was cheering, the countless small decisions to keep moving forward when no guarantee of success existed. You will know that the so-called luck was simply the visible spark of a fire you had been building all along. Luck, then, is not an accident. It is the visible tip of an invisible process. It is the reward for preparing when no one asked you to, for acting when no one gave you permission, for trusting that the path would appear beneath your feet as you walked. Every hour you invest in growth, every moment you push through fear, every choice to keep moving despite uncertainty is a silent invitation to opportunity. And when opportunity finally arrives, the world will call it luck, but you will recognize it for what it truly is, the meeting point of all your preparation and the courage to act before the world felt ready. Fear appears when you are closest to growth, and this truth is far more powerful than it first seems. Most people misunderstand fear, treating it as an enemy or a wall that must be avoided, when in reality it is one of the clearest signals that you are standing at the edge of something important. Fear does not show up when you are safe inside your comfort zone. Fear does not rise when you are repeating the same familiar patterns that keep life predictable. Fear awakens when you approach a threshold that promises transformation, when you are about to stretch beyond the limits you have quietly lived inside for years. It is not a warning to stop. It is a sign that you are moving toward territory where growth is waiting. The trembling, the hesitation, the tightness in your chest are not proof that you are weak. They are proof that you are alive, that you are stepping into a space that matters. Think of the moments that shaped your life the most, the conversations that changed relationships, the opportunities that required risk, the decisions that demanded courage. Almost every one of those moments was accompanied by fear. The first time you spoke your truth, the first time you tried something that others doubted, the first time you walked away from something familiar in order to build something better. Fear was there every time, whispering that you were not ready, that you might fail, that it would be safer to turn back. And yet, when you ignored the whispers and acted anyway, you discovered strength that had been waiting inside you all along. The fear did not disappear before you acted. It dissolved because you acted. This is why fear should never be treated as a stop sign. A stop sign demands obedience. Fear demands understanding. Fear is a compass. It points toward the areas of your life that hold the greatest potential for growth. If a dream or a goal does not scare you, it is often because it is too small to challenge you. Fear is not an obstacle to be eliminated, but a signal to be interpreted. When it rises, ask yourself what it is trying to show you. Is it warning you of real danger, or is it revealing that you are about to outgrow the limits you have known? Most of the time, fear is not about physical safety. It is about identity. It is the discomfort of leaving behind an old version of yourself. Every step you take despite fear becomes a brick in the foundation of your next level of strength. Strength is not built in moments of ease. It is forged when you feel the weight of doubt and move anyway. Each time you act while afraid, you teach your mind that fear is not fatal. You rewire your nervous system to associate fear with expansion instead of retreat. This process is not about recklessness. It is about understanding that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to continue forward in its presence. Courage is the quiet agreement you make with yourself that growth matters more than comfort, that becoming who you are meant to be matters more than staying who you have always been. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff with a breathtaking view beyond it. Behind you lies the safe ground you already know. Ahead lies a leap into something new. Fear will try to convince you that staying where you are is the only rational choice. But if you stay, you will never see the view that waits beyond the leap. Life rewards those who jump while shaking, who step forward while doubting, who move even while the outcome is uncertain. With every leap, fear loses its grip, and your inner strength grows larger than the challenge before you. This is why fear is such an honest teacher. It does not flatter you. It does not hide the truth. It exposes the exact areas where you must grow. If you fear speaking in public, it is because your voice is meant to be heard. If you fear starting a business, it is because independence and leadership are waiting to be awakened within you. If you fear love, it is because vulnerability is the gateway to deeper connection. Fear always points to the very doors you need to walk through. Treating fear as a map instead of an enemy changes everything. The process of stepping through fear is not a single dramatic event. It is a series of small, deliberate actions that slowly teach your mind that fear is survivable. You start by taking one small step, a conversation, a decision, a commitment, and then another. Each step may feel insignificant, but together they create a momentum that transforms who you are. Over time, the things that once terrified you become normal. What once seemed impossible becomes routine. The cliff you once dreaded becomes the ground you now stand on with confidence. It is important to remember that fear never fully disappears, no matter how strong you become. At every new level of growth, a new fear will appear. This is not a sign of failure, but a sign of life. Growth is infinite, and fear is simply the companion that reminds you that you are still climbing. The goal is not to live without fear, but to live beyond it. To reach a point where fear no longer decides the limits of your life, where it no longer dictates what you can or cannot attempt. When you treat fear as a signal, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for confidence to magically arrive and instead build confidence through action. You stop seeing fear as a barrier and start seeing it as a guidepost. Each time you honor that guidance, you become stronger, wiser, more capable of meeting the next challenge. Fear becomes less of a threat and more of a partner in your growth, a constant reminder that you are alive and evolving. So the next time fear rises inside you, whether it is before a difficult decision, a big leap, or a quiet but life-changing conversation, pause and listen. Feel it fully, recognize it not as an enemy but as a messenger. Let it show you where you need to go, then take the step, even if your hands tremble and your heart races. With every step, you build a foundation of strength that no setback can destroy. Fear will still appear, but each time you move through it, it will find less and less power to hold you back. In this way, fear becomes the proof of your progress and the doorway to everything you are capable of becoming.